Hello and welcome to all agents, trainers, Pikmin bloomers, lightship pilots, eighth wall advertisers, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders to episode number 67 of the Wayspotters. As Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokemon Professor Network. And today is Friday, April the 21st, 2023. I am one of your hosts, Blame Jamal, and joined with me, as always, is Chris. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. How the heck is Canada today?
It's
snowing?
it's
What's going on up
gorgeous
there?
out today. My wife actually
Is it
has the
really?
dogs outside, and she's out playing in the yard with
Nice.
them while we're recording. So yeah, it's gorgeous out today.
Awesome.
It's
Do your
snow on
dogs like?
Tuesday.
I was gonna
But
say, do your dogs like snow or do they not like snow?
they love the snow.
Okay.
Absolutely love it.
And what kind of dog? I've never asked you what kind of dogs you have.
We have a Rottweiler puppy.
Mm-hmm.
She's 10 months old. She's huge. And the other one's kind of like a German Shepherd. I think German Shepherd Husky
Oh, okay.
mix.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
both
Well,
super energetic.
today, Chris, kind of spicy.
Yes.
Feeling very spicy. So, feeling very spicy this week. I want to touch that third rail, and I want to talk about the Harris Niantic. Um, the Harris Niantic, but I want to talk about it from an explorer slash wayfinder slash wayfarer slash wayspotter. And believe me, Chris, I have a lot to say about it, but I want to save that for topic number two. I want to save that for
Cool.
topic number two. We also have a new review from Apple Podcasts that we want to go over, and we have a voicemail from one of our favorite patrons, Sarah Manda, that we're going to play.
Yes.
But before we get into all that, I believe we do have new news from Niantic. Am I right?
We do have new news.
All right. What's the news? Talk to us.
So the new news is the Wayfarer Challenge vote is complete, and the winner was Spain.
All right. España.
España, yes, they won.
Nice.
Not by a lot. Like, it was close. It was
I saw that. I saw that it was pretty close.
Yeah, it was close between Spain and Italy, which is exactly what we were talking about last week. When I thought that it would be close between Spain and Italy, and Taiwan would kind of suffer. So, yeah,
Right.
Spain.
Yeah.
It was super close right at the end, and Tintino, I think it was Tintino, sent out a message saying, "Hey guys, it's super close. So if you want input, voted." And then I tweeted it out too, going, "Hey."
I saw that. So, what do you think of Spain as a location for this challenge? Like, what are your initial impressions?
I think it's going to be super interesting, to be honest with you. I think that it's gonna be, there's a lot of culture and there's a lot of history in that part of Europe. So I'm excited to see what we're gonna see as the Wayspots nominations.
And it looks like the ambassadors are off and running. They've already got some things in the works, and I think they've changed their bonus location. So, I'm going to personally choose a location depending on if we can just pick any city we want. I'm going to pick something maybe close to the border with Portugal. There was somebody
Yes.
on there that made a mention that they wanted to get as close to Portugal as possible. So they would get these nominations as well as some from North Africa, depending on how wide it is, or maybe go the other end of Spain and try to get some from the lower realms of England, or go all the way to the east. So it's going to be kind of interesting if you just kind of go away from like Sevilla or Madrid or the big there and try to get some extra little bonus things there. But I really am puzzled by the fact that Spain does not have a lot of decisioned way spots. I would think with it being
Yeah.
like a big, older European country with lots of history and culture, that wayfinders over there would have like had every little nook and cranny in the game and already voted on. So that actually kind of surprised me that both Spain and Italy were there. As we talked about last week, I kind of get Taiwan because of maybe its relationship with China, but Spain and Italy really surprised me. I don't know if you had that same thing.
I did. It was Spain and Italy too, right? If you think about it, Italy less so much because it's not necessarily as landlocked as Spain is, But yeah, like I thought for sure that the people in Spain would have been all over it. So I think my personal thought is that there's a lot of people putting in nominations and not a lot of people reviewing. Right. I think their problem is their lack of reviewers, not necessarily the lack of people going out and putting submissions in. Right. So, which goes back to what we're saying. Like, if you put submissions in, you should go out and do 25 to 30 per.
I'm saying
per nomination, right?
We should get that on a shirt. Like, nominate one, review 25. Oh, king of shirts. We launched shirts in the merch store.
We have shirts in the merch store.
It's very exciting. The link will be in the description. If you've always wanted to have your very own Wayfarer, Wayspotters shirt, you can now get one in our merch store. So we asked Ken to do that, and he right away. So that's very, very exciting. And you can wear your Wayspotters shirt while you're doing your reviews. That would be cool.
Yes, that is super meta Wayfarer content.
That is super meta Wayfarer content right there.
I am personally working on a couple of designs for the merch shop too. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah, so it looks like challenge. I got to get the Rosetta Stone out. So I took Spanish in high school. High school was a long time ago. Yeah, and I can understand a little bit of Spanish. When people are speaking Spanish really fast, I have a hard time. But if I see it, I can kind of guesstimate what it's trying to say. So
I've taken zero Spanish in my life, so I'm going to be completely lost. So Google Translate, I'm coming for you.
So do you speak French?
I used to speak enough French to get by. I haven't really kept up with it. It's something that I want to relearn. But at one point, I could go to Quebec and I could survive enough that they would recognize that I was trying and speak English to me. Okay. But yeah, not really.
Nice. So now this is something we're going to touch on a little bit later, Chris, and I want to hear from you. Culturally, you're going to be seeing they're going to be different in Spain than you see when you lived in upstate New York and then when you live in Canada. And different than what I see in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my bonus locations. Culturally, how are you going to apply the guidelines to what you're seeing, given that it's likely to be different than anything you might have reviewed before?
That's a good question. I'm hoping, like we talked about last time, I'm hoping that the ambassadors or Niantic comes out with kind of a cheat sheet for us. I think I might just... I'm going to Google Spain, and I'm going to Google kind of the things that are culturally relevant there. I'm going to spend some time doing some research, drive the Google car around, check the Intel map, see what's already on the map. Not that necessarily will tell me.
Right. Because what's currently in the game doesn't necessarily mean that it still should be a waste.
Right. But you can kind of tell based on Niantic's rejection criteria and what's already there. Give you some idea. But yeah, I'm gonna do some research into Spain.
Well, to kind of tease what we're going to talk about in topic number 2, should the criteria and should the guidelines vary based upon the objective you're trying to get? So when we were in Indonesia, there was a lot of things that I approved that I would not normally approve, but we were doing a challenge. And the goal was to get things added to the playboard. So I review differently in Indonesia than I would normally approve now. Do you think did you do that, and B, to do that if you did do that when you get to Spain?
Yeah, when the Indonesia challenge, I definitely was more lenient with some of the submissions that I normally would be. And I think I'll do the same thing when I'm in Spain, because the object is to get things on the map, right? And obviously we're not going to go out and approve things that are just ridiculous, but things that are borderline, yeah, 100%. Throw them in.
Right. Okay. Yep. And I tend to agree with that. God, I'm the, what's a few meters between friends guy, and I like to look at a lot of the gray area. And all right, I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want anything for what I'm going to talk about later. But is there anything that you think that might give you any trouble? Is there anything you aside from the language, anything that you are expecting to see or you're anticipating you're going to see that's going to make you kind of go, gosh, should I skip this? What should I do with this?
I don't know. I know so little about Spain at this point in my life, which is really a shame. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's really a shame that I know so little about that part of the world. I'm not expecting really anything to kind of trip me up. We'll kind of see when we get into it. But
one of the things that I'm wondering about, not worried about, but wondering about is I know there's a lot of alleyways in Europe in general, and is something like, let's say something from like 1624, a plaque in an alleyway. I would look at that and say that doesn't have good pedestrian, but do I know if they drive a car down there? Things like that, where it's so different than what I normally see that I wonder like how I'm going to review that, because it's, and there's things over there that are culturally relevant that are not here. So if you come to the South, where I, there's a lot of things here that we would look at that and go, yeah, that's culturally relevant to the South and culturally relevant to Charlotte, North Carolina, where if you saw that from Canada, you'd be like, no, this is a generic XYZ. But to us, we're like, no, that's so-and-so, and everybody around here knows who this person is or knows that story. And this is commemorating something that here, like, for example, NASCAR is big in the South. And there's a lot of things around town that have to do with like moonshining and old cars. And you would be like, no, that's just some old car. But it turns out like that was the first car that brought moonshine down from the mountain. And everybody that lives here knows this is the car. And it's like a big thing. And it's parked in a field and it's permanent and it's not going anywhere. And you might look at that and go, that's not culturally relevant. But if you lived in the South, you're like, heck yeah, that's where NASCAR was, so things like that. I'm anticipating that I'm going to see some things like that I might not know about, and it might be in Spanish. And if I'm doing the translation bring out exactly what the submitter was trying to get into. So I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the criteria, and I'm looking at the guidelines, and I'm going to take kind of a common sense approach to when I go in and do my voting.
That's a good idea. You know what I just thought of?
What's that?
I'm going to make a post on the Wayfarer forums after we're done.
Okay.
Asking the people of Spain what certain things that are culturally relevant there that might not be culturally relevant anywhere else that might trip up reviewers that they want us to know.
I like that. I really like that. That's a great idea. Yeah. That's why you're the brains of this operation. I like that. In the China shop, and you're the strategic guy. I like that. So that's the Wayfarer challenge. That's the news. I love it. Part and parcel with that, one of the things that I wanted to specifically say is I'm liking the communication lately that's coming from the Niantic Wayfarer team, at least on the one of the things that I've noticed, Chris, is Tintino and team stay away from Twitter.
Yes, they do.
They stay away from Twitter. If you want to hear from Tintino or anybody else on the team, you got to go to the forums. They try to keep it contained to the forums because Twitter is the great old cesspool.
Yep.
And all dirt is going to be on Twitter. So, but I didn't know, I know you're on the forums a lot more than me. I don't really post on the forums as much. I don't know why. It's just, I just don't. I read. I'm more of a creeper on the forums. But I know you get in there and mix it up on the forums. What do you think about the communication from Niantic through the forums most recently?
I think it's been fantastic, honestly. There's been a couple of things that they've kind of let slip a little bit longer than they really should have. But honestly, overall, and then the first quarter of this year, they've been really, really good. Right? People have posted stuff on there saying, hey, I'm having this problem with my account. And like within a day or so, Niantic Tib or Tintino or one of the guys is just like, DM me or we're looking into it, or, it's good. They've been really, really active on the forums. So, kudos to them for stepping up and really being that part of Niantic that's actually willing to communicate.
Right. And I think that's awesome. And I think the addition of Niantic Tib is really great. I do. Speaking of Twitter, our Twitter handle is @Wayspotters. Wayspoters. If you want to send us anything good or anything hateful or anything in the middle, you can definitely do that. But make sure you follow us.
Yes.
If you want to say something good or bad, that's awesome, but make sure you follow us. So,
and if anything interesting happens on the forums, I'll be tweeting it out. Niantic might not want to tweet it out, but I will.
I know. I love it. I love that. But, and I've also seen that since Tib has come on board, things have kind of settled down a little bit. And I think we can also associate that to the ambassadors. I think the ambassadors have been a very awesome addition to the forums and, helping Tintino and team out. More hands involved in the process is always better than less hands.
Yeah.
It seems like the ambassadors have taken on their own individual projects and are working them towards the finish line, which I think is really awesome, because if you've got a small team, you can only work on so much. And if you can say, hey, ambassadors, here, go and do this and go and do that, I think that works out a lot. So we are still doing our best to be good partners with the team, and the invitation's always open whenever you guys are ready to come on. I know you guys are doing some things over on that side, and when you're ready to tell us and talk to us about it, we're here. Speaking of that, I had a chance, Chris, to talk to Ambassador Testone the other day, and we recorded a tutorial video. And I think in the next couple of weeks, the viewers will be able to see that on YouTube or TikTok. Where will they be able to see that?
I'm going to have that ready and up this week, probably Monday.
So the day after this episode drops, they'll be able to see some of the tutorials, right? So Testone and I went through some of the plugins, what they do, how to work them, how to get them set up. And we hope you guys kind of find that informative. So look for that on our socials. What socials will they be able to find that on?
I am going to put that up on YouTube. So I'll probably put it together as a full thing and throw it up on YouTube. And then I'll put some shorts together and put them up on TikTok. And I will tweet them out as well. So
awesome.
And
I'm looking forward to the
shorts up on YouTube too. Yeah.
We had a good time putting that together. And I think it's going to be pretty informative. And Chris and I are going to be reaching out to other people in the Wayfarer community and doing some other tutorials. And Chris will be going out with his camera and doing some nominations and putting that up on YouTube. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So that ought to be pretty awesome. Are you going to go out with your camera? Or are you going to have a camera person with you?
I'll just go out with the camera. I'll just do it myself.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty good at setting stuff up and doing that.
I like it.
Unless I can convince the wife to shoot for me. We'll see.
Looking forward to that. So we've got a lot of stuff.
Here's the question about your not to interrupt you, but here's the question about the plugins. Did Testone fix yours?
My plugins are fixed.
Beautiful.
I am 100% fixed. So we figured out what I was doing wrong. And so what I did is I cleared out all my plugins and started over. So I'm very, very happy with the results. Good. So if you follow Testone's advice, your plugins will look nice. So
the people in the Discord can stop giving you.
Oh my god, they were killing me for what's going on with your plugins? Yeah,
That's great.
So it's great. I'm really, really excited about that, and I think that'll be something that will be good going forward. So and I had a chance to meet Testone at GoFest in Seattle last year. And hopefully Niantic will be telling us soon where GoFest is going to be this year and the dates and all. And hopefully a lot of the ambassadors who I haven't met and you haven't met, we could meet them wherever it is. I'm kind of committed. I'm going on record right now. Wherever GoFest is, I'm going. I'm saying that now. I'm going. So wherever it is in the States. If it's abroad, I won't be going to there. So if it's in Seattle again, that's actually really cool because my family's from Portland. So what I did last year is I flew into Portland, saw my mom, hung out with my mom for a couple of days, and then took the train up to Seattle and then did GoFest and then took the train back down to Portland, hung out with them for a couple of days, and then flew home. So that actually worked out well. I got a trip in to see the family and GoFest. Nice. So wherever it is this year, I don't know if they're going to repeat Seattle, but I would get a free trip to see mom. So wherever it is, I'm committed to going. I just hope they announce it soon because thinking about airfare and all this other stuff and, anyways. But wouldn't it be cool, Chris, if we could get Tib and Tintino to have some type of Go Fest event for Wayfarer. Wouldn't that be
That
cool?
would be amazing.
Right?
We will be there with bells on.
Oh yeah. I don't know how they would do that if we all like flew to one city, maybe they had a couple, one in the US, one abroad that didn't have a lot of waste spots. We just kind of all like parachuted in on the Niantic balloon and we have 80 nominations if you're a Pogo person and an English person, and it's just like you just go out around that city and nominate as much stuff as possible, right? And just try to make sure that nobody snakes you and use your appeals. You would kill this because you got all those appeals. Wouldn't that be awesome to have some type of Go Fest but for Wayfarer?
Wayfarer Fest. That would be amazing.
That would
they could pick a region that doesn't have a whole lot of nominations, not necessarily nominations that are pending, but just nothing, and then fly us out there.
Yeah,
and we could be consultants.
Yeah,
they bring all of the YouTube crew. And we'll consult for them.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great idea. This is a fantastic idea.
All right.
I love it.
In 3 weeks, we've given the Wayfarer a lot of good ideas, and we've given them these ideas for free. I think we need to start charging them for these. I don't know. Anyways, we'll have to talk to the ambassadors and try to see if we can get the Wayfarer credit card to buy us some plane tickets for. What'd you say? Wayfarer Fest?
Wayfarer Fest, yeah.
Wayfarer Fest. All right. We're gonna have to work behind the scenes to see if we can make.
Yes.
We'll
make some calls.
We'll make some calls. Yeah, we'll keep you up posted. All right. You want to move on to topic number 2? I'm feeling a little spicy. Kind of ready.
I am feeling spicy as well. This is. I'm looking forward to this.
All right, everybody. So topic number 2. There's been a lot on in the last, call it 2-3 weeks about here's Niantic. Right? There's the hashtag here's Niantic. Here's Niantic Part 2. And I'm going to try to stick to Wayfarer as much as possible because I don't know this is necessarily my lane. I'm a Pokemon Go player. I'm level 50. Got 300 plus million XP, so I'm qualified to speak on this, right? I live in the city, but I live in kind of the suburbs. I've got friends that live in rural areas. And I know for the most part, Chris and I haven't weighed in publicly on this. But a couple episodes back, I think it was episode 6, we went really deep to try to find ways to help the rural trainer find ideas for their POIs that would help beef up their areas. And I've been wanting to talk about this subject for a long time. And I know, Chris, this might go a little bit off the rails if that's okay with you. But
by all means.
I went back and I looked at the Wayfarer forums. And I typed in rural and I typed in all these other keywords to see what the community's sentiment has been about the rural explorer, the rural trainer, the rural agent. And the thing that bothers me about this, Chris, and I'll just cut to it, is I feel like people are using the rural trainer and the disabled trainer to their advantage as pawns. They're using them as pawns. I'm going to say it. Because the only 2 times I have ever heard anyone say anything about a rural trainer or a disabled trainer is when the radius went down and then now.
Yep.
But in the other 7 years of the game, I haven't heard anybody have any care in the world about the rural trainer. And I feel that in my life, I've been used as a pawn before, right? As it's growing up. As an African American in the United States, there's been people that have taken up a cause that I've liked or agreed with, and then when they were done with it, they were done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to call out the gatekeepers. I call out gatekeepers all the time, and I want to specifically reference a thread from November of 2022, and I will let you bring this up on the screen. All right, and I'm going to bring this up. So what you're looking at here. It's a amalgamation of Ingress screenshots where people have nominated and have been accepted into the Lightship database neighborhood signs from some that are very intricate and some that are very not. And OP, who put this up there, was coming at it from the perspective of these are ineligible. We don't need these in the game. It's not a good place to gather. It's not a good place to exercise. It's not a good place. It's not a place for anything, right? So, I want to talk about that, right? And then I want to go over and I want to read what one person said when it comes to this, and I'll tie this back into Here's Niantic. So I'm going to read this. Please don't take this the wrong way, but why do you care? Getting a point at an apartment community serves 100% of the players who may not have any other close proximity spinner. It gets people outside, moving around, and exploring, especially kids younger than teens who have limited mobility. I have boys aged 10 to 12. I cannot let them walk to the park because of safety issues, but I will gladly let them walk through our apartment complex. Having one accessible spinner for younger kids lets them get Pokeballs they need to enjoy the game. Poorer families benefit from this in a huge way because they aren't buying their kids Pokeballs. I feel reviewers forget that a large portion of the player base for this are children. It's important to give them safe and accessible waypoints that they can actually catch Pokemon and enjoy the game. I've seen Niantic overturn rejections on large apartment complex entry signs multiple times. They clearly feel that these stops serve a purpose. Are they the best, most culturally relevant, exciting waypoints? No. But do they facilitate exploration and gameplay? They absolutely do. If the apartment complex sign and the swimming pool at my apartment complex were not waypoints, my boys would have very little ability to play Pokemon Go, except on the weekends when they are out somewhere with me and there are more spinners. We have a couple of accessible spinners. They were able to play the game every afternoon after school. That provides them with a massive amount of enjoyment that they would otherwise miss out on. Reviewers need to get off their high horses and understand this is a game and not some sort of hyper important review process for a culture or art magazine. Remember, the kids' game, what you might turn your nose up at, could be giving many children a ton of enjoyment and opportunity to play a game that they love. So,
yes,
I'm going to stop sharing there. Now, to further my point, Chris, take out and put in disabled. Take out children and put in rural, right? This reviewer this person, OP here, was calling out the gatekeeper saying, this is not rocket science. This is not, we are playing a game, right? This whole Here is Niantic movement is saying we are making it fair for a certain amount of trainers because they don't have the accessibility to play the game. And then Niantic is charging them a whole bunch of money for remote raid passes, and they can only use 5 a day. Well, you know what, folks? I've got a way that you can help the rural trainer. I've got a way that you can help the disabled trainer. People are nominating Wayspots left and right, and you are not approving them.
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of neighborhoods in my area in Charlotte, North Carolina, that I know for a fact have kids and disabled people, and it gets rural, right? I live outside. I live close to a city called Huntersville, which is a lot less populated than Charlotte, North Carolina. And there are spots out there where there only is one gym. I've driven out there. There's only one gym. And if someone lives there and they're disabled, guess what? They've got one gym. But you know what they have? They have a lot of other things that might not be 100% criteria. But if people wouldn't be gatekeepers and they would allow those to go through, that would be an easy way to help it, right? So if you're going to say, here's Niantic, right? Niantic is saying, this is our game. We are going to make you play by the rules we want to play. The Here's Niantic people are saying, no, we don't want you to do your rules. We want you to do all. We want you to say we can remote raid from anywhere. And Niantic is like, hashtag go outside, hashtag get outside. We want you to get outside and do this. Now, the reasons behind that are nebulous. We don't know. But what I'm saying is, Chris, those same people who are just bombarding Twitter, Niantic will 1-star a neighborhood sign because it doesn't meet their gatekeeper perspective. And if you help approve that neighborhood sign, then the people that you were supposedly trying to protect with this Here's Niantic movement have a spinner, have a POI, have a gym that they can play in. Stop. I've been talking for like 3 minutes.
Do you know what else? It's 100%. I am completely on the same page, right? There's all these people who are screaming and screaming and screaming, but they'll go in and 1-star everything, right? And the other point, and I just thought of this, is how many of these people who are screaming on Twitter about the rural trainer or the disabled trainer are actually in Wayfarer doing reviews?
Right.
Like how many of them are actually trying to contribute to the system that's going to make this better for the rural trainer, that's going to make this better for the disabled trainer, the trainer that's too young, all this stuff, right? How many of these people are in Wayfarer trying to get more stops in the game? How many people are on there doing their 40 to 50 reviews a day, even 25 a day, right? To try setting their bonus location to somewhere that's close to them, but rural, right? So
correct.
They get, or driving out and putting stops in to help that rural trainer that they're screaming about. I bet you the answer is not many.
Right. So they'll on Twitter all day long about these disabled people and calling everybody ableist, but are you helping?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you.
Or are you just screaming?
Yeah, they're just screaming, because I can tell you tweeting 10 times a day, Here's Niantic, is not going to do as much as you able-bodied person getting in your car and driving 10 or 15 minutes outside of the city, 10 or 15 miles outside of the city, and nominating something in a rural location, and then getting on Wayfarer and reviewing and helping getting that approved is going to do a lot more, because I can tell you Niantic is not going to back down, right? They tweet yesterday and then deleted it that said hashtag get outside. Okay, that tells me your Here's Niantic hashtag does not weigh as much as this hashtag get outside. So get outside. If you truly, and I'm talking to everybody who has ever used that hashtag Here's Niantic, right? And I'm screaming, I'm ranting. Everybody who's ever used that Here's Niantic hashtag, if you truly believe that, and you're not just being, I'm jumping on the bandwagon, but you truly believe Here's Niantic is where you sit, I want you to get up, go outside, and nominate something in a rule. Then I want you to take the Wayfarer test, and I want you to review 25, 50, 75 nominations and help those rural trainers get Pokestops and get gyms. And if you're not willing to do that, then I'm not willing to read your tweet about Here's Niantic, because I'm giving you a way that you can help these rural 100%. Trainers.
That's absolutely. And you know what? And I'm going to show something. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, right? So we were driving back from my parents' place. My parents' place is up about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of here, right? So it's super rural, right? The town that's just outside of where my parents live is super done. Like I've gone through and there's not a whole lot I can do there. It's actually set up pretty well because there's a lot of people who go there and it's cottage country, right? But there's a couple of little cities on the way. So I was thinking on the drive home and I was like, this is super rural. I wonder how much Pokemon Go can be played in this area. So I looked up one of the little towns and I found, I don't know, you're not gonna be able to see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Wayspots that I can put in. And they'll all in separate cells and they'll all be in Pokemon Go. Right. So
that's amazing.
The next time that we go up, I'm going to spend some time and we're going to stop on the way home. We're going to have dinner and I'm going to go and put all those stops in. I'm going to help that community.
That's amazing.
So we're not just ranting and raving here and asking you to do it. We're putting our money where our mouth is. And
absolutely. And if anybody has ever listened to more than one episode of this podcast, they know you can send us an email at Wayspotters at PokemonProfessor.com, right? You can call our hotline, 704-426-3710. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Wayspotters.com. Yep. I will stop what I'm doing. I have done this for 7, 8, 9, 10 people, and I can give you the names. I don't want to say their names on the air, but I can give you their names. I have worked with people for hours looking at the intel map, sending them pictures of nominations, helping people with descriptions. I'm putting my money in my mouth where it is, and my money by time, right? I'm taking my time. There's been times where I've stayed up to 2:00 in the morning looking at areas, driving the Google call around and saying, hey man, here is or 6 things that you can nominate. I've made sure they're in their own section, their own cells. And if you nominate these 2, one of them will become a gym. Now, it's not a couch stop. It's not a house stop. These are all legitimate stops. But I'm trying to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. I hate when people just complain and they're not willing to do something, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of people, Chris, that complained to you and I because they didn't like a guest that we had on our show.
Yeah.
You know what? This is our show. Just like Niantic, it's their game, right? Wayspotters podcast is not for everybody. And there's some people, they weren't going to listen anymore. But you know what? There's a whole lot more people that are listening now than were listening before.
Yeah.
Right? We are trying to provide solutions for people. And I'm going right at you guys. And if you guys want to come at me on Twitter, at Jamal Harvey, JamalHarvey, come at me personally. Call me, right? DM me, call me. We'll talk on the phone. Because this day and age, Twitter has made it a lot easier for people to say something on Twitter than they'd say to my face, right? Come at me. I am serious about this. I want to help the rural trainer. I'm not going to sit behind some hashtag and say these disabled people and people in a wheelchair. I'm go out and help those people get something near them where they can play the game effectively. Ingress, Pikmin Bloom. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. We'll wait for Amanda's voicemail. But I'm here. I'm not hiding behind anything. I want to help make things better. So I'll stop my rant.
And that's the key thing I think that we need to get across here is that Niantic's probably not going to back down from this, right? This is the way that they want their game played. This is the way that we were playing it before. It is what it is. We need to kind of focus on making the best of what we've got now. And Wayfarer is the way. It's the best way for people to help these people who live in rural communities or who might not have the best mobility, right? You got mobility issues. Get stuff near them. Go out there and make more gyms, make more stops, make more portals. Right? And it's just, you can't just sit behind your keyboard and slap away and smash your face against your screen and then go off and do whatever, right? Go out, create a Wayfarer account. I want to see it. I want to see people. And if some of these people are doing that, then good on you, right? Good on you for being part of the solution.
Yes, that's right. Good on you for being part of the solution.
And
if you need help passing the test, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we said, we'll help. Whatever you need, we're here.
Yeah.
DM us.
If you need help passing the test, if you need help writing a description, if you need advice on how to take a picture, if you just want someone, dude, I'll get a Zoom link and we will review together.
Yes.
If you want to do that, right? We'll review together, right, Chris? You'll do that?
Absolutely,
I've done it.
100%.
I will go through and I'll review 10 and then I'll flip it over to you and you review 10. I don't care who you are. As long as you speak English, that would be helpful. Unless we can get some program where we can translate. So I'll put that caveat on there. As long as you can speak it. I'm an American. I speak one language. I would love to speak another language, but I don't. But I will create a Zoom link and I have done that for people. So I'm not just saying it. I have actually created a Zoom link and got on with people for an hour and just said, you can nominate this, you can nominate this. Here's where you should put the pin for this. Now, people are going to agree because I'm what's a few meters between friends, but I will help you. Like, I am all about this. Like, I am super passionate about this. I have a podcast about this. We wouldn't be super passionate about this and just have this random podcast. We want to help you. So to the people who've asked me, what's my personal feeling on Here is Niantic? I've never been a guy to go protest outside of City Hall. Like, I just don't think that is something that works. Now, history has shown there's marches and there's been protests. That's just not me. I'm not a protest guy. I'm never going to jump in and join a protest. I'm going to try to find a way to make it better the best way that I see fit. And me tweeting out Here is Niantic when I know Niantic's not going to just all of a sudden go, you know what?
Yeah.
We saw your hashtag and we're going to do this. Fine. People are deleting the game, doing that. I'm like, you know what? You want more Wayspots. You want more gyms so you can raid, right? I'm going to help you do it. Now, let's see how many people are going to take me up on my offer and be serious, or do people just want to bitch and moan? We'll see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll see.
100%.
Yes. All right. We're going to go to break?
Yeah, I think we deserve a break.
Yeah, let's take a break. I need to get some more
All right.
water. I've been yelling and screaming. All right, so we're going to go to break. We're going to play some dad jokes. And remember, for our podcast listeners, you're going to hear the traditional dad joke music. And for our TikTok and our YouTube viewers, you are going to hear the YouTube friendly music that won't get us taken down. So
yes.
we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to try to calm down, and we're going to go over Wayspot of the week and a couple codes of the week, and then we'll wrap up and we'll give you your Sunday back. So we'll see you in just a few minutes.
All right.
I saw an ad that said radio for sale, only $2, volume stuck on full. I thought to myself, I can't turn that down. A locksmith had to go to court and give evidence last week. Apparently, he was a key witness. For my birthday, my children gave me an alarm clock that sweared at me instead of buzzing. It was quite the rude awakening. What did Jazzy call his wife before he married her? Fiance? A friend just asked me if I thought advent calendars would be around in 10 years' time. Personally, I think their days are numbered. I read by law that you must turn your headlights on when it's raining in Sweden. How am I supposed to know if it's raining in Sweden? My daughter said to me, Dad, can you put the cat out? I said, sure, but I didn't know he was on fire. All right, everybody, welcome back from break, and thank you for listening and watching the Wayspotters podcast, episode 67. I'm Jamal, and that's Chris. And we had quite the spirited conversation in the break. Chris was trying to calm me down. He's like, take some deep breaths. And so I think I'm pretty calmed down. So I'm actually looking forward to hearing all of the viewers and the listeners' feedback. Really want to hear, like, I'm serious about everything I said. So looking forward to hearing your guys' feedback. But we have a review, Chris.
Oh, yes.
We have a review.
Yes, we do. Let me pull this up here.
Yeah, we have a review that we want to share. And remember, everyone, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can only give a numerical review, but on Apple Podcasts, you can actually go in and write a review, and it will show up, and we will be able to see it. And we want to go over this review here. So this review comes to us from Mike via Apple Podcasts, and he wrote this review on April the 16th, and he gave us 5 stars. Remember, we always say 5 stars are the best stars. And he says the title is Good for What It Is. The hosts do a pretty good job at producing a podcast on such a mundane topic. Editorial, ouch. The whole idea of Wayfarer is pretty crazy. A multi-billion-dollar company has brainwashed a massive amount of people to provide a tremendous amount of free labor to them. Not only are they doing tedious and time. Thank you, Mikey Mike. I appreciate the 5 stars. I don't know if that's a backhand compliment, Chris. I don't know.
That's what I said when you said this to me, and I'm like, thanks, I think.
Yeah, like I think. He gave us 5 stars. That's the most important part. And he says we do a pretty good job at producing a podcast. So,
you know, and I get it. I get the free labor kind of thing. But this is a passion for a lot of people, and that's why we do this podcast, because like you said earlier, we are passionate. About this topic.
Yeah.
I got a good chuckle out of this. It was good.
So, Mikey Mike, if you're listening, thank you for the review. And Mikey Mike, do us a favor. If you're listening, call us, the hotline, 704-426-3710. Leave us a voicemail. You have up to 3 minutes. Leave us a voicemail. Or you can, if you're a Spotify listener, you can click through Spotify and you can access a voicemail function in Spotify. We're getting ready to play a voicemail from Spotify from Sarah Amanda, but get in touch with us or drop us an email, Mikey Mike, Wayspotters at PokemonProfessor.com, or follow us on Twitter and send us a message there. Chris and I try to do a really good job of responding to everybody we can. It'll either be Chris or either be me. If there's a bunch of misspellings and there's bad grammar, it's me. If it looks really good, it's Chris. So go from there. So that's awesome. But thank you for the review. We really appreciate it. We love to hear feedback from the viewers and what you guys think. We get it. It's a mundane topic, but thanks for saying that we did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right. So, Chris, Sarah Amanda, who's one of our favorite patrons, left us a voicemail. And this one was like, you ever heard something and you're like, I feel picked on? Squarely shooting this right at me. Squarely shooting this right at me. So let's go ahead and play this message from Sarah Amanda.
Hey Jamal, Sarah Amanda here. I know you're trying to be inclusive of other Niantic games when you randomly mention Pikmin Bloom as an example of a game that a Wayspot can appear in. But sir, nothing new has shown up on the Pikmin map since game launch, which has been over a year. So like those 100+ Wayspots I've added in the last year, none of them are in Pikmin Bloom. And I mean on the map. I'm not talking about as a freaking postcard. That doesn't count. So each mention of how a new Wayspot could show up in Pikmin Bloom is dear to my heart. So I just wanted to let you know. It's like a dagger to my heart. It hurts. Please stop. Peace. Sarah Amanda.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't play, so I don't. That sucks.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I should have known that, but I didn't know that.
We really should have known that. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have known that. So Sarah Amanda sent a message in the Discord. She's like, "Did you get my voicemail?" And I was like, "Yeah." Okay. So, yeah. So
now I feel bad.
I know, me too, because I talk Pikmin all the time. So Sarah Amanda, I will say this, Chris. Had she decided to do the Pikmin Bloom podcast, she might have been able to get something added in. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Niantic, if you're listening, maybe throw the Pikmin people. I was gonna say a bone, but a bouquet of flowers.
A bouquet of flowers, right? And I even told Sarah Amanda I would edit the Pikmin Bloom podcast. I said I'd edit it. My wife heard me say that. She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You're going to spend more time in the office editing something?" And I'm like, "I'm not editing the YouTube, doing that." She's like, "Damn right now." But I told Sarah Amanda I'd edit the Pikmin Bloom podcast. I'd make it sound good. So, anyways, Amanda, thank you for reaching out to us and sending us a voicemail. Like I said earlier, we really love to hear from the community. We want you guys to feel that this podcast is yours as it is ours. We try to find topics that are entertaining, educational, and exciting. And if there's something you want to hear, let us know.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Chris, you want to do Wayspot of the Week?
Wayspot of the Week. Yes. This is a good one.
Yeah. Wayspot of the Week. You want to do this? You want me to do this?
How about you take this one? I'll take the first call.
All right. Wayspot of the Week. So this one comes to us from Unbreakable. Shout out to Unbreakable in the Pokemon Professor Discord. Unbreakable is one of the Discord mods. She has done so much work in the Pokemon Professor Discord over the years, and she is chatting about different Wayfarer things over the last couple of weeks. So Unbreakable, I wanted to find something you put out there, and shout out to you for this one. This one, for everybody who is on the audio podcast, is called the Ribs, RIBS mural. And the description is, now that's some tasty art. Which I love the play on words there. And what you're looking at is a building. It's a white building with a window that looks like the window has some bars on it. And above the bars, it says "Got Ribs" with a question mark. And then to the right is 3 stacks of ribs painted onto the building. And it looks like they've got barbecue sauce on them. And it is such a cool little mural. My guess is this is on the back of a barbecue joint. We only have the title and the description. We don't have the supplemental information, but this is a really cool mural. I don't know where it is because this was pulled during the time where there were no addresses on it. Mm-hmm. But if I saw, I would love to have a gift from this specific mural.
Yeah, this one's super cool. I love ribs. I could eat ribs every single day of my life. So this mural has a special place in my heart. I would love to pin a postcard from this stop if it got approved. I hope it got approved.
If you love
this is great.
Ribs,
this is fantastic.
I got to get you down to North Carolina. I got to get you some Eastern North Carolina barbecue and some Western North Carolina barbecue, and then some South Carolina barbecue. We should have a show about barbecue because Eastern North Carolina, Western North Carolina, and South Carolina are 3 different types of barbecue. South Carolina, mustard base. East Carolina is the vinegar base. And Western North Carolina is more of the mustard base. So depending, and I live in Charlotte, which is kind of right in the middle of all 3. So I get a little bit of everything, right? So, yeah.
I gotta come visit you.
Right. And don't let anybody from Texas, Arrow, Justin, any of these guys, Lucifer, Texas barbecue is not North Carolina barbecue. So Lucifer, don't come at me. Hamtaro, don't come at me. Hank, level 50, don't come at me. Justin is from Kansas City. Justin, the host of the Special Conditions, co-host of the Special Conditions podcast, is from Kansas City, but now lives in Texas. So he might try to pop off with this. Kansas City's better. No, Justin, it's not. Anyways. All right. That's my little diatribe about barbecue. It's the South, North Carolina, South Carolina is. All right. Let's move right along from barbecue to Coal of the Week.
Coal of the Week number 1 is a table fan. It is one of those $5 or $10 fans that you can get at Walmart or Target or wherever that you put on your side table in your room or your office. It's just like it's a fan. It's a table fan. The title is Super Cool Fan. The description is Cooper Dog said so. And the supplemental photo is a picture of the fan from the top for some reason. Which gives me no context as to where in the room your fan is. Like, come on, at least give me that. And the supporting information is Cooper Dog. So I get the impression that this person's dog is a big part of their life.
Right.
Which, dog people are dog people.
Yes.
My wife's got 2 dogs. She loves them very much. I tolerate them. But
you know what I've done? You know what I've done to my wife before? I've got a piece of paper, and I will sit here and do this with the piece of paper. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm your biggest fan." So when I saw this, I'm like, "Yeah."
We've got dad jokes in Coal of the Week.
Right. This came to us from Zetaj.
Yes.
I can never. We've had this person on the show. ZEHTADZMAJAL. They've been on a Patreon episode of the show, and I can never pronounce him. Thank you for sending this in.
Zatad's Mahal?
I believe that's how it is. And I think I
just called it this is a terrible example of how to cheese the system and get a house stop, because this is terrible. Awful.
It's not good. It is not good. So that is Coal of the Week number 1. All right.
All right.
What do we got for Coal of the Week number 2?
Pull up Coal of the Week number 2.
Coal of the Week number 2 comes to us from the first Hamtaro, who is the host of the As the Pokeball Turns podcast. So if you're not listening to As the Pokeball Turns podcast, please go to Spotify or Google or Apple or whatever and type in As the Pokeball Turns. He's got a really good podcast, and he is a friend of the show. And he also sent us this really awesome coal. Now, for those of you, again, who are listening to this on Spotify or wherever, this is a Pokemon card, right? And the title of this is Card Number 2. And the description is card. That's it. Right? The supplemental information is yes.
Oh, okay.
And the supplemental picture is the same as the primary picture. And what Pokemon is that? I'm not even familiar with Pokemon.
I don't even know. Is it a Pokemon?
I don't know. Is that a Digimon? I don't know what that is. We'll obviously send this out on socials. This will go out as a YouTube short or a TikTok short. And you guys tell me what this is. But this is from Killeen, Texas, and this is so cool-tastic. And we don't have the information to see where they put the pin. I'm only guessing this is at their house. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that I can surmise
sure.
is that someone is trying to get something at their house. But card, and yes. So,
So I just Googled it.
Say. Yeah.
I just Googled it. Apparently, it's a character from Sonic.
A character from Sonic.
Mepheles? It's like Dark Sonic.
Yeah.
On a Pokemon card.
Okay. Your guess is as good as mine. So okay, there it is. All right, Chris. Yeah, that's a couple good ones. All right, Chris. We're right about at an hour, and we've said a lot, and hopefully we're saying some things today, guys, that will spur some conversations, and hopefully I've ruffled a few feathers. I'm coming directly at the gatekeepers. I'm looking you directly in the eye, and I'm not running from you. So I want you guys to come back at us just as hard as I came at you, and tell us why you are the way you are. And I want you, when you come at me, to justify it behind the hashtag and tell me how it's not a double standard and it's not disingenuous and it's not all the other big words that I could use, but I'm not going to because I'm out of big words for the episode. But tell me. You got anything else, Chris?
Yep. No, I think we've covered it. I think I'm on the same page as you. Put your money where your mouth is. And if you already are putting your money where your mouth is, show us. We would love to see it. Yes. Good. And we're doing a little programming on the air, but we need to come up with a hashtag for people to use. Let's think about that. Next episode, let's come up with a hashtag when people are trying to help trainers get something in a rural area. Let's come up with a hashtag so that way we can go back and find those posts and then we can talk about them on the show. But let's come up with a hashtag. Absolutely. Yes.
Let's do that. Yes. And if you guys out there listening, watching, have an idea for a hashtag, hit us up and let us know what you think. All right. So with that, I want to thank you guys for listening to this episode of Wayspotters. And we can't have an episode of Wayspotters without shouting out our executive producer, KatettheKonz. You rock. Keep sending me messages at 2:45 a.m. and I'll keep answering them at 4:37 a.m. And we love all of our Patreons. Also, we love you guys. We love how active you are in the Discord, and we appreciate you guys. 1, holding us accountable, and 2, giving us ideas for the show. We really appreciate it. So if what you heard today on the show, there's a few ways that you can show us. The first one is follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at wayspotters.com. We try to be incredibly responsive, and one of us is usually around, awake, here to answer questions. You can also rate us on the podcast service that you're currently listening to, which is Spotify, Anchor FM, Apple, Google, iHeartMedia, and others. And if you want to be like Mikey Mike, 5 stars are the best stars, which is awesome. Another way that you can get in contact with us is you can visit our website, www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can get links to everywhere you can download, and you can also send us a message directly from the website. What you can also do on the website is you can visit our merch store, and you can buy a Wayspotters t-shirt and wear it. Awesome. Next, you can send us an email at wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. Send us an email, thoughts. We'll read your emails on the show, good and bad. We're not going to discriminate, good and bad. And then from the website, you can also send us a message. And you can also send us a message directly from Spotify, just like Sarah Amanda did as well. And also, Chris, we've got an Instagram and we've got a TikTok.
Yes, we do.
And next week we'll have a banner that will tell you, but I'll tell you now, Wayspot at Wayspotters Podcast is how you follow us on Instagram. I need to get better about putting stuff on Instagram. And then our TikTok is I Make Wayspots. And you will see shorts and things from us both on TikTok moving forward, as well as our YouTube page. And our YouTube page, we don't have enough followers yet to have our own personalized YouTube, right, Chris? How can they find us on YouTube? What's the best way for them to follow?
You search Wayspotters on YouTube, it'll come up.
How many followers do we need to have our own personalized URL? 100?
It's not a whole lot. I think we're close.
Okay.
Because I've got one for my personal one, and I'm only at like 50.
All right. Follow us. God, I gotta get the whole YouTube, like how they do it, like and subscribe and hit that bell.
Subscribe, yeah.
God, I don't even know that. I gotta polish that, right? I got to polish that so next week I can be like and subscribe and smash that like button, hit that bell. So yeah, I'll figure it all out. All right. So third, for our listeners who want to call an American phone number, our hotline is 704-426-3710. You never know, your may appear on an upcoming episode of the show, or you can send us a voicemail directly through Twitter. You can be like Sarah Amanda and get your voice on the show. And finally, if you're not a member of the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon, you can join for as little as $1 US, which I'm told is $1.33 in Canadian money is a whole different thing because it's got all these weird colors on it. And it looks like Monopoly money, but I guess it's real. I've been to Canada and I've used it. It's smaller and anyways, you can join for $1 US and $1.33 Canadian. It'll give you access to the entire Discord for the entire family of shows across the Pokemon Professor Network, including Wayspotters, Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcasts, and Lured Up. It's a fantastic place filled with fantastic people, and we don't just say that, we mean it. They are fantastic. With that, we look forward to listening next week for another episode of Wayspotters. And remember, there's only one way to stop a fire. Pause my mixtape.